Welcome to another video of Papa Genius on urban politics, where I talk about trending topics using faith, scholarly information, and science-based facts, and also my opinions. And today we're going to talk about how this Haitian TPS ends due to federal judgment. This federal judgment on yesterday handed down two rulings, and one of them is TPS ends for both the Haitian citizens here on a temporary status as well as Syrians. And it's something that I need to talk about because, of course, Syrians are also included in this, but in regards to Black Americans, I've not heard of any type of negative rhetoric coming from the Syrian community against the Black Americans. However, it has been a perpetual harassment that has came from many, not all, within the Haitian community against Black Americans. Very similar to how a lot of African immigrants are towards Black Americans. They still hold things personal, like when they first came to the country, they were placed into predominantly Black schools. Other hidden sentiments that are cultural within like the Haitian, Caribbean, and African communities that migrate into this country or immigrate into this country, they already have perceived notions about Black Americans without really examining the full history of where we came from, the beginning, and where we are at today. They don't see all of the accomplishments. They only see the last 30 years of what has occurred since, I would say, the crack epidemic. Something that was placed on us into our neighborhoods. And so this is what they are leading with when they come into this United States. And so what they think is that if I align to whiteness, then I'm going to somehow rise above the Black American that has been established here for almost 500 years. We've been here, my ancestors have been here and helped to build this country up longer than the existence of America. But they're within the Haitian community, and especially those who have been here in America on the temporary protection status due to wars or conflicts that have placed their lives in danger. And this is from the welfare and the goodness of a brotherly country. And I'm not saying that United States have not had any influence in some of their economic downfall, but not completely, because they were owned by France and they were helped by the Polish. But Haitians come here and Haitians come here and they defer their angers and frustration towards other marginalized people like ourselves, Black Americans. And they tend to use very volatile language to insult Black Americans that have been here, that have organized civil rights, enough so for them to be able to enjoy the luxuries of being in a position where they don't have to worry about discrimination. And if they have to worry about discrimination, they have certain rights within it. Those are all things that were fought for by the very people that they look down on. And instead of building up ties with our community, it is just ongoing, constant. Like, even when it comes to voting, we have now understood how very different we are in regards to certain communities when it comes to the totality of what a Black American framework would look like if we were to do this thing as Pan-Africans. Like, everybody together. And so now that the 2024 election has occurred, it has helped us as Black Americans to navigate what do we need to do moving forward. And I think that also too, a lot of frustration is coming out, and they're releasing what they feel about America and how they feel that they have contributed towards America being here on a temporary status.
This is the time for all of us to raise our voices and to say this country is also our country, is also the country of our immigrants, because we are the one who built it.
The cries of Dr. Gerald Gabeau.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you for your receipts, ma'am. I'm going to ask you for your receipts. You built this country? I just want to be clear here. Haitians built this country is the argument that they made. So now what I'm getting, because they pulled this with when Congressman Brandon Gill, my congressman, introduced a resolution that would just put a moratorium on Somalian immigration. They were like, Somalians built this country. So now I'm getting that anytime there's something that is said about a country that is typically a third world country that does nothing for us, their immigrants are just leeching more than they are giving to this society. They're just like, actually, we built this country. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But guess what? If you want to say that you're a good builder, I have great news for you. You can go back to Haiti and rebuild there. In fact, I would argue you're doing your own country a disservice. Because if you were good at building things, you probably should have stayed and helped them build all of the rubble back together. You should have helped them build the buildings back up. You should have never been here in the first place if you're good at building. But don't worry, there will be plenty of time for you to rebuild in your own country.
And although I do not side with racist rhetoric, I will have to say, as an American, a lot of what she is saying has validity to it. It's like, you filed for temporary protection status. However, the motive was permanent residency. And because of the policymakers we had in office for so many years, for the past 20 years, a lot of this that should have been handled the proper way, it kept on getting inherited by one Democratic president after another. Now, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. However, I vote smart. And I do see that Democratic Party, they have had a bad habit of handling immigration in a way to where it sets up immigrants for failure. Because you can't have the world all immigrating into one country. It's just not sustainable. However, we need immigration, of course. But the Democratic Party, for some reason, they have had a hard time with actually convincing the totality of the American population their stance on immigration and how to handle it. TPS means exactly that. It means temporary. When the door closes, it's time for you to go home. You done wore your welcome out. And now it's time to go back home and do the work. Now we're going to listen to some more perspectives of both Haitians that live here in the United States and other Americans and their perspective of these comments. And let's explore a little bit more, and let's find out, how did we get here and where do we need to go from here?
What's your problem? You realize you treat your slave masters that have enslaved you for centuries better than you're now treating the Haitians. Why are you so mad at them? Because they came here and they work hard to achieve the things that they have, while you lazy fucks sat on the farewell welfare system because your grandmother, mama, and everybody else was brought up on it. People just want to know.
Look, this has been going on for over a dozen years. Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half of you, won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry. I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services.
Now, according to the Haitian woman, she said and took out her aggression. She directed all of her frustration and anger towards Black Americans for whatever reason. Whether she got upset because she heard someone voicing their opinion as an American, and she felt like it was her time to just let loose and use profanity and insult Black Americans who have been here for hundreds of years. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. But to someone like Megyn Kelly, she would never get onto social media and correct Megyn Kelly. And this is exactly what I am trying to point out. And, a lot of this comes from that survival driven culture from a lot of Black immigrants that come into this country. They have a part of their survival mechanism is, again, as I stated before, it is to align themselves with whiteness, but they don't understand that it is a double-edged sword when you align yourself up with something that you have absolutely, and like you don't share the same values. And like I said, even with the Supreme Court Justice who adopted 2 Haitian kids, she voted along with the majority to end it. Her, of all people, as a white American woman who has 2 Haitian children, should understand the seriousness of how many hundreds of thousands of Haitian citizens that are here on TPS, how important this is to them. But you would never hear any of them take out their frustration and aggression towards that judge.
You American? Dirty Black American? Wait, what? Huh? She just said that? I did. A dirty Black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are. Wait, what? Huh? Huh? What? Wait, what'd you American? Say? Black American? What? No. Hold on. You said dirty Black American. You heard that? You just asked me what I said. I did. Why you said that? Because that's what y'all are. Dirty Black American. She just said that? I did. A dirty Black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are.
I feel like I'm standing like my mama right now. Kissa, what did I just hear? I just watched a video of Trump talking about the temporary protective status, TPS, that many Haitians in the United States of America have, that is allowing them to work here, to stay here, to be temporarily protected. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it, and then afterwards we'll deep dive into it together. As someone that has been saying for a very long time that I support Trump, and now I'm hearing, just watch it, and then we'll get into it.
Springfield is such a beautiful place. Have you seen what's happened to it? It's been overrun. You can't do that to people. They have to be removed.
So you would revoke the temporary protected status?
Absolutely. I'd revoke it and I'd bring them back to their country.
So you would revoke the temporary protected status?
Absolutely. I'd revoke it and I'd bring them back to their country.
Well, after watching that, I just want to say that I still support Trump for president. And here is why. If you've watched this far, you might as well hear me out and listen to why. Far too long, we have had officials here in the United States that do not have the best interests of Haiti. Not just the Haitian people, but Haiti. They have been looking for opportunities to steal the land, steal the resources, and all the things. When they do all these things like the parole, allowing a certain amount of people to come into the United States, Haiti being one of those
countries, when they do things like the temporary protective status for people that are in the United States, I have realized that it is creating an environment where Haitians don't even want to go back. They don't even want to go back to Haiti. So Haitians will never make it a point and of importance and prioritize fixing home first.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. So today is the second day, actually. It's the second day after the election. And I know for most of you, you may not be happy. But I am happy because the choice was not mine. I was praying the Lord to choose the lesser of the two evils. And Jesus chose whoever he knows the hearts of both of them. So therefore, Jesus chose the lesser of the two evils. So basically, I'm happy. I'm happy that Trump is the president. I have nothing against Kamala Harris, but I have a problem with her policies. I believe that Trump is behind more so what God says than Kamala. So I'm happy for the result. As a foreigner, I don't know if that's going to mean for me to go back to Haiti. But though, anyways, salvation is...
Now, these individuals in Ohio, these migrants from Haiti, these people living there from Haiti, do you consider them here legal or illegal? And would you revoke TPS status?
Which area are you talking about?
Let's say Springfield.
There is horrible. You have a beautiful community, 52,000 people, and about 30,000 people were put into that community rapidly, and the community is so nice and they want to be so politically correct. You have to remove the people. We cannot destroy our country. You had a beautiful, safe community. Everyone's in love with everybody. Everything was nice. It was like a picture community. And all of a sudden, in a short period of time, they have 32,000 more people in there. It doesn't work. It can't work. It has nothing to do with Haiti or anything else. It doesn't.
That's why he did that, I think. I'm with an amazing Haitian driver right now, and he supports Donald Trump. And you weren't affected by the I'm eating the dog, I'm eating the cat's comments. You voted for Trump today, and I don't want to put my face. No, I'm shooting the back of you. Yeah, I did. Just because I understand that. The problem, the first reason is just because I know, wow, with Mr. Trump, the problem actually in Haiti will be solved first. And I know Trump doesn't have any problem with Haitian legally here. That's why I support
so after listening to those individuals, you see their politics are all over the place as Haitians. It's all over. It is a conundrum. You got one black girl who's Haitian who's insulting black Americans, calling us dirty. Then you've got another Haitian black woman who's saying she is for Trump, voted for Trump, and she's glad TPS is ending, even though she has Haitian family members, I'm pretty sure, friends, associates on TPS. She's glad it's ending while she lives here in the United States. Then you've got another black woman who says that she's not even sure her own citizenship status is secure, but she's going to vote for a man who consistently said that he is going to end TPS because he was going along with the eating the cats, eating the dogs, even though that was a very false narrative that was created. There was a situation with someone who did eat a cat, and they had a psychiatric psychosis event that occurred, and the person was not Haitian. However, there is also another report that was caught on the E911 call of a group of Haitian Americans that did collect some geese, some wild geese from a lake or a pond that was a public pond, and they walked off with them and took them home. But the eating the cats, eating the dogs, black people didn't say that. We didn't say that, but you would never hear them take that same tone with white people here. And then the man who was driving the taxi, he was being applauded by the Trump supporter who he was transporting. He voted that morning for Trump. Now think about it. 92% of us black American women here in the United States voted to help save them. They voted against their own interests. Do you see how That, do you see how dangerous that is for us to align ourselves with people like that? So that's why I can't be sorry for them, because their politics are all over the place. They can't even unite America. How in the world are you going to be able to unite back in Haiti? And that is where the problem is. That's why it's always going to be ongoing conflict over there, because they can't even align their politics when they come here on a soil where there's resources for them to collate a political movement, so that when they go back home, they can strengthen their own country. But I'm gonna tell you how they got into this situation, and I'm gonna go past that 1804 where they freed themselves from France. Really, technically, they were not free, because they had a bondage cost. It was something called, it was like a reparation for French white slave owners and landowners over in Haiti who had sugar plantations, where they went to war with France to keep their freedom and having to go back and forth in military conflicts. France demanded such a large sum of money from them, and even to this day, really technically, they're still trying to pay that money back. And you even had Poland that came in that was supposed to be siding with the French, and they ended up picking up arms with the Haitians. And so there's a lot of intermixing there in Haiti, and a lot of that has fallen over into colorism. Colorism, in my opinion, has been one of the more modern divides that has led to a lot of conflict between their people. Case in point, Wycliffe Jean. Why was it when the earthquakes happened and Grammy Award-winning singer from the Fugees, Wycliffe Jean, said, you know what, who is Haitian descent, he said, you know what, I am so passionate about my country that I want to take everything I got here in America and all of my celebrity status, my platform, the resources, the connections, and I want to bring it back to Haiti, and I want to help my people and use the resources that I've gotten here and what I've learned from what a government should look like right here in America, take it back to my country and run for presidency. He helped them so much. He galvanized so many resources to help them in their time of conflict, when they were still under civil unrest, and they were facing an earthquake that killed hundreds of thousands of people. They had no running water, they had no food, no nothing. Wycliffe Jean said, let's go. Do you know that they created so many they created so many hardships for Wycliffe Jean to actually even file to run for presidency? Oh, you don't have 5 years residency here. Excuse me, what? Y'all don't even have a real constitution. So what are you talking about? But I'm going to say this. I bet you if Wycliffe Jean was a lighter skinned black man, Wycliffe Jean would have been president of Haiti. They still got a colorism problem over there. It's within their own community here in America. They don't talk about it, but it's there. They have this air about them, and you know they're right there in this triangular of the Caribbeans and where Latin America is at. So they've always been fighting colorism and classism and featureism versus the Dominican Republic, which is right across the water from them. And then they're also right there next to Cuba, which fights a lot of colorism to this day. Dominican Republic fights colorism to this day. See, these nations, they got all of these inner conflicts that were handed down to them from their slave masters. And instead of doing what black Americans have had to learn to do, because we have colorism here in America, we're still fighting through it, but we learned something, and that is this: divided we fall, united we are stronger. And until these nations understand